guys, welcome. So most of you probably heard that a gang of Venezuelan criminals known as Tren de Aragua, they've taken over some apartments in Aurora, Colorado, and along with other things, they're going into various homes and other subdivisions and such. These guys are a serious criminal organization with the likes of the mafia. They do kidnappings, assassinations, drugs, and controlling territories is what they're famous for. And they also have ties to the Venezuelan government. So they're in bed with the government. They're so notorious that one of the things they like to do is when they go take over an area, they take the leader of that group and chop the head off and then play soccer with the head. So again, they've taken a apartment over in Aurora, Colorado. About 3 weeks ago, I was sent a video of a lady that was living there saying that this had been happening. Now, I couldn't find any other information. And then a few days later, there was media saying that this was not true. Just like all media, propaganda, they don't want Americans to know what's really going on. Later, I found out, just like they do with social media, mainstream media, they try to cover things up. By not telling you is a method of their propaganda. So let's look at the video real quick.
Venezuelan migrants that's been brewing for months. With every verifiable fact, there has been some misinformation and rumors. Well, tonight we have new information on what we've learned is happening inside an apartment complex. This video has been making the rounds online since yesterday. Shows armed men walking through a building, knocking on doors, then entering an apartment. A former resident and city council member tells us these men are part of a dangerous Venezuelan gang, and their numbers have been growing steadily because of the crisis at the border. The apartment complex is at 12th and Dallas and Aurora. That's east of the border with Denver and just a mile or so from the popular Stanley Marketplace. Tori Mason is your reporter in Aurora. Tori joins us now. You talked with a woman who lived there, watched all of this unfold, and she certainly said this was terrifying for her.
Yes, Karen, and even though she's moved, she's still terrified. It takes bravery to speak out on something like this, but she says it's worth it if it means action will be taken. There have been rumblings of new gang activity in Aurora all summer. Officials have skated around the topic, but now there's video and victims they can't deny.
Now there's a lot of things circulating on X primarily, but pretty much every social media, that the Hells Angels are now going to go solve this issue. You see this now. Multiple reports and videos indicate Hells Angels are headed to Colorado following reports of migrant gangs taking over the apartment complex. Here's a video here saying, can confirm Hells Angels headed to Aurora. Now, the problem with all this is most of this footage was filmed on foreign highways with foreign motorcycle clubs, questionable sources and such. And just in this video alone, you've got a spider here. I can assure you they're not riding around in spiders. So definitely not Hells Angels. Now, there hasn't been any official word, not that I think there would be any, from the Hells Angels stating that they would be going there, because the truth is they're not going to come out and post on X that they're going there. There has been some information that they may roll up to this area, but the thing is that people are saying they're coming there. There's Hells Angels chapters in multiple in every state, so they don't have to go anywhere. There's Hells Angels in that area. I can assure you there's some in my area. The thing is that maybe someone knows someone that's in this apartment complex from the Hells Angels, or someone that they are kin to, relative, family member, or it could just be the territory. But the thing is that, like Black Scout, we donate to a local MC, and you can see our logo on their shirts. They have them on the back of their shirts when they do events. If they were to get involved in something like this, they would never broadcast it on the internet. You'd only hear about it after it happened. So I think this is a trend amongst conservatives, though. They're always looking for someone to come save them. Now, a lot of people can say negative things about motorcycle clubs and such, but they do a lot of good. They do a lot of things for youth, uh, and they obviously are involved in a lot of other things as well. But the problem is that our government has allowed criminal gangs, terrorists, and the likes to invade our country, and essentially completely uh, lawless is what we have. We have lawlessness. So what happens when the government does that? It brings out vigilante justice. This is what happens. You see it all around the globe, all throughout history. If the government is not protecting the citizens, vigilante justice normally happens. But the thing is, the trend amongst conservatives, let me get back to that. They're always waiting for someone to come save them. I see this time and time again. Oh, these folks are doing this. These folks are doing this. No one is coming to save you. Let me get that straight. No one is coming to save you. That mindset has to stop. Did you even vote in your primaries? Do you know who your mayor is and what their agenda is? A lot of what has happened could have been curbed by participating in your own hometown, being aware, stopping it, because a lot of this stuff brews locally. Most of these wild ideologies crept in through this method, just like drag shows in schools and libraries and such. Like the $150,000 loans California is set to start extending to illegal aliens. You know, this is a method for them to redistribute money to replace you and make the world unlivable. There are two strategies at play that they are using. One of them is the Cloward-Piven strategy, a political strategy outlined in 1966 by some Marxists. The strategy aims to utilize militant anti-poverty groups to facilitate a political crisis by overloading the welfare system via an increase in welfare claims, forcing the creation system of a guaranteed minimum income, redistributing income through the federal government. What do you think is happening with $150,000, putting them up in luxury hotels, giving them thousands upon thousands of dollars a month? I mean, some locations are giving anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month to migrant families. They're redistributing wealth is part of a replacement system. What also you have going on here in this country, something I speak about quite often, is anarcho-tyranny, a concept where the state is argued to be more interested in controlling citizens, who they view as the opposition, by the tyrannical class rather than controlling real criminals, causing anarchy. Hence what you see going on in Colorado. Laws are argued to be enforced only selectively, depending on what is perceived to be beneficial to the ruling elite. So that's why you see countless illegal immigrants that have committed crimes and that are released. We can look here and show various ones. Illegal immigrant released from Martin County Jail. We have illegal immigrant suspect in Texas girl's murder were caught and released by Border Patrol. We could go on with these. Guatemala migrant accused of police officer's death released after case dismissed. And just so on and so forth. Illegal migrants accused of killing 12-year-old girl recently released by ICE. So you have all these things. But what's going on, they're going after, per se, Donald Trump for nonsense. They're going after Daniel Penny, a Marine who intervened on a subway. If you try to defend yourself, you get thrown in jail. Now, the other thing is that as we have the government making it legal for migrants to own guns. So now they can walk around with firearms. Meanwhile, they're trying to take yours and mine. And back to Trump, I've had a hard time believing that these folks are going to allow him to win an election. There's word that the New York State National Guard has started staging guardsmen at hotels around the New York City courthouse where Donald Trump is going to be sentenced on September 18th. They're expecting that Trump will be taken into custody and sent directly to Rikers Island by Judge Merchan. The Pentagon has also green light additional military support for Secret Service until Inauguration Day. What does that sound like to you? It sounds like they're planning on putting him in jail. They're going to do whatever it takes, and they're willing to do it. They're allowing criminal organizations, terrorists, to come through our southern border and get away with violent crimes. They're willing to do anything. They're willing to redistribute your wealth. They're wanting to completely control this system. And again, listen to my words. No one is coming to save you. Know what's going on in your community. That's bottom line. Like, you can stop a lot of this in your local community. Take charge of it. Be active in your community. The liberals were. That's how they took over every organization. They took over all seats in small towns. They've taken over as professors in colleges and indoctrinated the youth as teachers. They've done all these things. Be active with your family. Network. Get a group of people together. Why is the Hells Angels a strong organization? Because they're a brotherhood, a large group of people that are willing to have each other's backs. There's strength in that. If you look at anyone who served in the military, you played on a football team, you know there's strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers. You can't do it alone. You can't be a lone wolf. Obviously, spend time with your family, read your Bible, be active in your community. Does your family know how to use firearms? Because I can assure you, when you have a fire team or squad of Venezuelan gang members with ARs coming to your door, you're not going to be Jason Bourne. People have said this often. I've heard this saying, that would never happen in America. When they're talking about other things in other countries, that would never happen in America. It's exactly what's happening right now in America. You better wake up. Stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous.